the landslide that wasn't. New York Times chief White House correspondent Peter Baker writing, quote, by traditional numeric measures, Mr. Trump's victory was neither unprecedented nor a landslide. In fact, he prevailed with one of the smallest margins of victory in the popular vote since the 19th century and generated little of the coattails of a true landslide. The New York Times' Peter Baker is with us this morning, along with Symone Sanders Townsend, co-host of The Weekend right here on MSNBC. She previously served as chief spokesperson for Vice President Harris and former Ohio Republican Governor John Kasich. So, Peter, Trump, however, did win every single battleground state. He won the Electoral College, 312 votes. He's the first Republican to win the popular vote since 2004. How was this the landslide that wasn't?
Yeah, look, President-elect Trump has a lot to brag about. He did win a convincing victory. He won the popular vote for the first time in 3 tries for him. He did sweep those battleground states, and he brought in a Republican Senate, and they held the House. So he's a lot to feel good about coming in. At the same time, of course, it's never good is never good enough with Trump. Everything has to be the best, the most, the biggest, and all of that. And that's just not the case. The numbers don't show that. They use words like sweet landslide and resounding victory and historic and unprecedented, and that's just not the case. He's won at this point, it looks like, and the votes are still being counted, but it looks like he's going to get around not 49.9% of the vote. So just shy of a majority. He does not have the support of a majority of the voters, it looks like at this point. His margin of victory over Kamala Harris is about 1.6, 1.5 percentage points. That's the third lowest since 1888. And of course, he didn't have any coattails. He didn't bring in any new Republicans into the House. In fact, they're probably going to end up being right where they were right now. And in the 5 of the battleground states where he was spending most of his time that had Senate races, he failed to bring in the Republican in 4 of them. So there are limits to his victory that he, of course, doesn't want to acknowledge.
Right. I mean, Symone, but that victory does include the executive and the legislative, both branches of the legislative. What does this mean in realpolitik terms for President-elect Trump?
Well, look, in the aftermath of Peter Baker's very, very great reporting, and there are other outlets that have since matched that reporting and gone on and done additional stories, you have the incoming White House communications director for the president-elect sending out a statement saying that, oh, the president-elect won in a historic fashion, so on and so forth, mirroring a lot of the same language that we've already heard from not just the Trump campaign, but Republicans writ large. And, you know, sometimes you gotta, what do they say, fake it till you make it, like just fake it till you make it, project until it is actually there. The reason they are saying these type of things is because what Donald Trump, the president-elect, is planning to do and his agenda is going to shake things up, for lack of a better term. Tom Homan and the deportation force, right? What they are talking about doing in terms of another potential tax cut, maybe some of these executive orders we're going to see from the president-elect are not going to be things necessarily that are popular with the broad swath of the American people. But if they say we have a mandate that this is what the majority of people voted for, that they wanted, quote unquote, sweeping change, then maybe from their perspective, it makes the pill a little easier to swallow for folks across the country. I think Democrats would be well served to be very clear. Pardon me, and you have Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader of the House, saying this was in fact not a mandate. What the American people want is for Republicans and Democrats to work together, and that's what we, House Democrats, plan to do. And we plan to get things done, but this is not a sweeping mandate for the most extreme things. And that is the messaging and the frankly, the tact and the posture that Democrats writ large, I believe, should take.
And so, John, let's talk specifics for a bit. The Atlantic called Matt Gaetz' withdrawal from his bid for AG Trump's first defeat. How do you see that, John?
Well, Jose, there's no surprise to me that Gaetz did not get confirmed. I never thought he would. I've said it on television that he wouldn't. And, and it definitely is a blow to Trump any way that they want to spin it. But here's the thing. And look, he's followed up. He's replaced him with Pam Bondi, who I expect will have very little trouble being able to be confirmed. But what it does show is that, the Senate is advise and consent, Jose. They're not just going to lay back regardless of who the president is. It's sort of interesting. I, at a time in my life, was voting on governors' appointments. So I had a chance to vote yes or no. As governor, I also had an opportunity to make appointments. So then I would then lobby people to approve my appointments. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And I had a Republican Senate that rejected my choice for the Public Utilities Commission. So, you have executive power, you have an opportunity to move, to act, to execute, but there's a balance. And I think what this shows with Gates, and perhaps even with the Secretary of Defense nominee, that that the Senate is not going to just not going to fold. They're going to have their views and their opinions. And remember, a number of them are up in 2026. So it's let's see how this all goes. And my view on it all is, instead of reacting to rhetoric, let's wait and see what they actually begin to do. And if we like it, we go with them. If we don't like it, we criticize them. And I hope that's the way that Jeffries will work as a Democrat leader in the House.
Yeah, and Peter, what does Gates' withdrawal mean for Trump's other controversial White House picks? And, John was just talking about one of those.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting question. Because it happened so fast, it now focuses attention on some of these other picks that otherwise might have been dominated by Gates. So leaving, I think, after just a week or so of having an announcement probably doesn't help the other ones, because he was sort of a heat-seeking missile that was attracting all the attention. The question is whether it emboldens Senate Republicans to say, yeah, we actually can draw some lines here. And this may be a line that is too far for us, whether it be on Pete Hegseth or RFK Jr. or maybe even Tulsi Gabbard or some of these others. But at the same time, they're going to want to show their loyalty to Trump. He is the undisputed master of the party. He has made clear that he doesn't forget when you cross him. And I don't think they want to cross him. So they're going to be looking for ways to work together with him to get most of his people through. And if there are some that they feel like go too far, they may have to sit down with him and try to ease them out without a direct confrontation if they can.